Welcome to Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go. This audio uses AI narration to present our original book analysis.
Oh, cool.
Today, we're diving deep into Agatha Christie's
Okay.
The Murder of Roger Ackroyd.
Right.
Now, if you haven't read it,
Yeah.
don't worry, we won't spoil the ending, but we are going to unpack what makes this book such a masterpiece of detective fiction.
Right. It all starts in a seemingly peaceful English village.
Okay.
Right? Classic Christie.
Classic Agatha Christie.
But the death of Mrs. Ferrars, a wealthy widow, throws everything into chaos.
So Mrs. Ferrars,
yes,
we learn, was entangled in some serious secrets.
Oh, yeah.
Blackmail, a hidden past, the kind of stuff that makes a quaint village suddenly feel a lot more sinister.
Right. And that's where our narrator,
Okay.
Dr. James Shepherd, enters the scene.
Because we've got this doctor.
He's a friend of Roger Ackroyd, the man who becomes the victim in all of this.
Right.
But here's the twist. Dr. Shepherd isn't just an observer. He's an active participant in the story, and Christie uses his narration to brilliantly mislead the reader.
You're telling me the friendly doctor is not who he seems.
Exactly. See, the brilliance of Christie's unreliable narrator is that you initially trust Dr. Shepherd.
Yeah.
He's observant, insightful, even a bit gossipy, just like any good narrator should be.
Right.
But those very qualities are what make him so deceptive.
So the same traits that draw you in are the ones that are used to throw you off the scent.
Exactly.
Clever.
Very clever.
What about the other characters? The outline mentions a whole cast of potential suspects.
Yes.
Okay.
A classic Christie ensemble. We've got Ralph Peyton Ackroyd's adopted son returning under a cloud of suspicion.
Interesting.
Immediately you think, could this be our killer?
Right.
That's how Christie starts planting those seeds of doubt.
Okay.
Then there's Flora Ackroyd, the niece with financial troubles. Maybe she had a motive.
Right.
And don't forget Major Hector Blunt harboring a secret love for Flora, adding another layer of complexity to the relationships.
So it sounds like everyone has something to hide.
Yeah.
What about the actual murder?
Yeah.
What are the initial clues that set the investigation in motion?
Well, we have the classic locked room mystery setup. Ackroyd is found dead in his study, the window open.
Okay.
But the door locked from the inside.
Classic.
There's a missing letter from Mrs. Ferrars.
Okay.
An odd detail about a moved armchair.
Interesting.
And, of course, a missing Tunisian dagger. All classic Christie elements designed to puzzle both the characters and the reader.
So we have a web of secrets, a cast of suspicious characters, and a seemingly impossible crime.
Yeah.
Sounds like the perfect case for a certain renowned detective.
Enter Hercule Poirot.
Here he comes.
And he doesn't just arrive to solve the puzzle.
Right.
He arrives to dissect it.
I like that.
Poirot's little gray cells, as he calls them,
Yeah.
are constantly working, observing every detail, every reaction, every inconsistency in the stories people tell.
He's like a human lie detector, picking up on those subtle cues that everyone else misses.
Precisely. But what's fascinating is how Christie uses Dr. Shepherd's narration to filter Poirot's brilliance.
Okay.
We see Poirot's deductions through the lens of someone who is actively trying to conceal the truth.
Oh, wow.
It's like watching a magic show where the magician is explaining the trick, but you still can't figure out how they're doing it.
So it's not just about who did it, but how Christie uses the narrative structure itself to deceive us.
Exactly. And this is just the beginning.
All right.
As we dive deeper into the story, the layers of deception become even more intricate.
Okay.
Every character, every clue, every conversation is carefully crafted to lead us down a path that ultimately ends in a shocking revelation.
He's going to be good.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I know, me too.
All right, we'll be back in a moment to continue our deep dive into The Murder of Roger Ackroyd.
So, one of the things that makes this book so compelling is how Christie uses seemingly insignificant details to foreshadow the truth.
Like what?
It's like she's scattering breadcrumbs throughout the story.
Yeah.
But you only recognize their significance once you reach the end.
I love those aha moments when you realize something you overlooked was actually a clue.
Right.
All along.
Exactly.
So can you give me an example?
Okay, so think about the dictaphone.
Okay.
It seems like a minor detail, just a piece of technology in Ackroyd's study.
Right.
But later it becomes a pivotal element in the murderer's plan. And even more importantly, a clue to their identity.
Because only someone familiar with the dictaphone would know how to use it to create a false alibi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because we're experiencing the story through Dr. Shepherd's eyes,
Right.
we're only told about the dictaphone when he chooses to reveal it.
Interesting.
It's a subtle way of manipulating our perception of events.
It's almost like we're complicit in the deception because we're so focused on trusting the narrator.
Precisely. And this theme of deception extends beyond Dr. Shepard.
Right.
Nearly every character in The Murder of Roger Ackroyd is hiding something, playing a role or putting on a facade.
Like Mrs. Ackroyd, right?
Yes.
She initially comes across as a bit of a busybody.
Yeah.
Obsessed with village gossip.
Right.
But as the story unfolds, we see glimpses of a more complex character, someone grappling with her own secrets and anxieties.
Absolutely. And her tendency to jump to conclusions,
Right.
to suspect everyone around her, is actually a clever way of diverting suspicion away from the real culprit. It's a classic red herring technique.
And then there's Flora.
Yeah.
We know she's struggling financially
Mm-hmm.
and has confessed to stealing money from her uncle.
Right.
So she immediately seems like a prime suspect.
And yet Christie uses Flora's vulnerability.
Okay.
Her emotional turmoil over her love for Major Blunt and her engagement to Ralph Payton to further muddy the waters.
Interesting.
It's as if she's saying, look at all these tangled relationships.
Right.
Surely one of them must be responsible.
It's like she's overloading us with potential motives, making it even harder to see the truth that's hidden in plain sight.
That's the genius of Christie's writing.
Yeah.
She doesn't just create a puzzle.
Right.
She creates an intricate web of human relationships,
Uh-huh.
each with its own secrets and lies, all contributing to the overall sense of mystery and suspense.
Speaking of secrets and lies, we haven't talked much about Ursula Bourne,
Yeah.
the parlor maid who was dismissed by Ackroyd shortly before his death.
Yeah.
What's her significance in all of this?
Ursula is an intriguing character
Okay.
because she represents the undercurrent of tension that exists between the wealthy residents of King's Abbot and those who serve them.
So she's privy to the secrets of the household,
Exactly.
and that knowledge could be dangerous.
Right. And Christie cleverly uses Ursula's position to introduce another element of doubt.
Okay.
Is she a potential suspect, or is she simply a pawn in a larger game?
And what about Caroline Shepard,
Right.
the doctor's sister?
Yeah.
She's described as being sharp and observant, almost like a female Poirot.
Caroline plays a vital role in the narrative, not only as a sounding board for her brother, but also as a subtle contrast to his deceptiveness.
Okay.
Her observations, unlike Dr. Shepard's, are genuine attempts to uncover the truth.
So she's like the reader's surrogate.
Yes.
Someone who's trying to make sense of the clues without the burden of hidden motives.
Precisely. And through Caroline,
Okay.
Christie introduces a crucial theme,
Mm-hmm.
the importance of perspective.
Right.
What we see and believe is often shaped by our own biases and preconceptions.
Which brings us back to the setting.
Uh-huh.
The seemingly idyllic village of King's Abbot.
Yeah.
It's not just a backdrop for the murder.
Right.
It's almost like a character itself.
Absolutely. The closed community, the interconnectedness of the residents, the constant whispers of gossip, it all contributes to an atmosphere of suspicion and claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Secrets are a currency in King's Abbot, and everyone seems to be trading in them.
And that sense of isolation, of being trapped in a web of secrets, is what makes The Murder of Roger Ackroyd so unsettling.
Precisely, it's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving.
Right.
And that even in the most seemingly peaceful settings, darkness can lurk beneath the surface.
Right.
And in this case, that darkness resides not in some shadowy figure, but in the heart of someone we believe to be trustworthy.
Yeah, it really is amazing how she uses the setting to mirror like the psychological state of these characters.
Yeah.
This idyllic village with its beautiful gardens,
Right.
charming cottages becomes like a cage, you know?
Yes.
A place where secrets fester and suspicion thrives.
Exactly. The walls are closing in,
Yeah.
both literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
And as Poirot starts to unravel the truth, that sense of claustrophobia intensifies.
Right.
He becomes a disruptive force, an outsider who threatens to expose the carefully constructed facades of King's Abbot.
And it's through Poirot's meticulous observations, right?
Yeah.
His relentless pursuit of logic
Yes.
that we begin to see the cracks in Dr. Shepard's narrative.
All right.
Those seemingly insignificant details that we, the reader, might have overlooked,
Uh-huh.
suddenly take on a new meaning.
Right. Like, think about
What's an example?
the discrepancy in the time it took Dr. Shepard to walk to the lodge gates.
Okay.
A seemingly trivial detail,
Right.
but to Poirot, it's a glaring inconsistency,
Yeah.
a sign that something isn't quite right.
Right. Or the carefully orchestrated phone call from the train station.
Oh, yeah?
A clever ploy to establish an alibi.
Right.
but one that ultimately unravels under Poirot's scrutiny.
Exactly.
The brilliance of Christie's writing is that she gives us all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
But it's Poirot who shows us how to put them together.
Right.
He's like a master conductor orchestrating a symphony of clues, leading us to a crescendo of revelation.
And that final confrontation scene where Poirot gathers all the suspects and lays out his deductions is pure theatrical genius. It's a moment of truth, a reckoning where deception is stripped away and the true nature of each character is revealed.
And to think all this time, we've been led astray by the very person we trusted to guide us through the story.
Right.
It's a betrayal of the reader's trust, but a brilliant one.
Yeah.
A twist that leaves you breathless and wanting to reread the book immediately to see how you missed the signs.
It's a reminder that even the most astute reader can be deceived, that our perceptions are often shaped by our own biases and assumptions, and that's the enduring power of The Murder of Roger Ackroyd.
Right.
It's a book that challenges us to think critically, to question everything, to never take anything at face value.
So what can we learn from this deep dive into The Murder of Roger Ackroyd?
Yeah.
What insights can we take with us beyond the world of this fictional village?
I think it's a cautionary tale about the power of deception.
Okay.
It reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, that even those we trust the most can harbor secrets.
Right.
But it also celebrates the power of observation, of paying attention to detail, of questioning assumptions. It encourages us to be active participants in our own lives, to never stop seeking the truth no matter how uncomfortable it might be.
This has been a thrilling journey, filled with twists, turns, and shocking revelations.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't already experienced the brilliance of The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, we urge you to pick up a copy.
Please do.
Trust us, it's a book that will stay with you long after you've turned the final page.
And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, don't forget to subscribe to Mindful Moments for more captivating book analyses.
Yeah, definitely subscribe.
You can find a link to purchase The Murder of Roger Ackroyd in the description below.
Check it out.
Nourish your mind on the go, and until next time, happy reading.
Happy reading, everyone.